Hey everyone, it's Tony here with Nerds Never Sleep, and today I am bringing you all another Iron Studios 1/10 scale X-Men statue. This time I'm going with one of the original pieces of this series, not the first, but one of the originals, with the team leader, aka the blue team leader, aka the Boy Scout himself. That's right, teacher's pet, Cyclops. And obviously I am joined here by Logan and Gene to do this little unboxing for you all. So, really quick, little backstory. This piece took me a while to track down, and I'm especially happy that I ended up getting one that's brand new and still sealed. Didn't have a shipper box, but whatever. I can do without that. The price is right. Very hard for me to track this one down at a good price, at like retail price, because with most of these, as the time goes on, they do get scarcer and they do get harder to find, and scalpers do go nuts. Originally, I didn't buy him and Wolverine and Beast and all those because I had the giant Sentinel #1 on pre-order from a local shop. Nonsense ensued. I got screwed out of it. And now I've kind of been trying to track all these original pieces down individually to make my own kind of little displays. So I was pretty excited that I got Cyclops, even though he's got a love-hate relationship with Cyclops. But I'm pretty excited to show them all to you today and check them out for myself. Seeing as how he's one of the older ones, I want to see how he holds up compared to a lot of the newer stuff in these lines. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring you guys in, let you take a look at this box, and as you can already see, it's one of the old school boxes, and we're going to take them out, open them up, see them together. Okay, so as you can see here, this is one of the older style boxes with the giant Iron Studios logo kind of cut out here. The obvious zoomed in close-up look at Cyclops, and the color themes for the character, which I liked these boxes a lot just because of that style. So we've got Iron Studios, we've got Marvel Comics, we've got 1/10 BDS, we've got Cyclops, etc. Here on the side, we've got a kind of red and yellow silhouette type thing of a kind of sideways view of the statue itself. On this side here, we've just got Iron Studios and Cyclops, of course. And here on the back, we just have a larger picture of the entirety of the statue that we're going to get. So as you can see here, we're going to have some kind of little ice effects because this was part of a larger display originally, and they kind of, I think, kept the base as is. So up here on the top, we just have the X logo and Cyclops. So pretty much it, standard fare for your older style box. Now we're going to go ahead and open them up. So now that all the cuts are here made along the sides and everything, obviously we want to open from the top, which has the Iron Studios logo kind of emblazoned on it. We want to actually try to finagle this all open. Drop that right down here. And as you can see, everything here is kind of in its little plastic wrap. So I'm going to go one piece at a time. And I'm going to start with the big one, which is, already looks really cool. So we got the base, and honestly, this one looks really, really cool, especially for being an older one. So this one is like just all covered in ice. And honestly, I'm looking at Iceman right now across the way. I think his base should have been more like this than just the big giant ice that he's going on. Because, man, this looks so cool. Like just all the ice shards going up everywhere. Going up looks like a staircase right here. So first things first, we've got a footprint and a peg right here. And we have what looks like it's going to be a magnet going over here on this. So Cyclops is going to kind of be either right here and something else is going to go here, which I imagine it is. It's probably, yep, this right here. So next piece I'm going to do is going to be this banister. So we've got a broken banister right here, all covered in ice as well. And it does have a magnet right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plop that down. Snaps right into place. You heard that probably. Looks really cool. So we've got this banister kind of going on right here. A broken banister. Going to be very easy next. So we've got, oh, I thought there was something broken down there. I got really nervous. Just the styrofoam. So we've got styrofoam piece kind of covering his chest, keeping him from any kind of paint rubbing. And here is Cyclops' body. Looks really good. You know, the lifting leg part, not the biggest fan of, but the rest of this looks very, 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 very solid. And we're going to see if he hopefully keys right down. Sometimes these can be a little bit of a pain, and nope, he flops right down in there. Pretty good. So we got the last piece, which is going to be his head. And his head has the whole classic look about it. Looks really good. I wish they would have made like the mouth open a little bit, like he was a little angry. But got a magnet, pops right in there, and this looks really, really good actually. The only thing I wish they would have done, and I can spoil that right now. The thing I wish they did was I wish they included an optic blast, but pretty damn impressive actually, considering how much older this is than the newer ones. Pretty impressive. So I'm going to clear this off. I'm going to do the usual, bring you guys in. Let's take a full look at them along with me. All right, guys. So as usual, I'm going to be going with free cam so I can give you guys the full 360 here of Cyclops. And right off the rip, you can see this is a really, really awesome looking piece. I honestly am surprised because when I saw the pose, I really wasn't too sold on it. I was kind of going, I don't know how I feel about that. But as far as an action pose, I mean, even just from the profile here, this does look really sweet. And definitely this base, while it's not a Cyclops technically themed base, it's freaking sweet looking. So you can see how there's going to be so many just details all going through all this stuff right here. And I'm going to just do the usual. I'm going to zoom you all in and kind of go through every little nook and cranny on this statue right this second. So don't mind if it does give a little blur real quick. So I'm going to start out here with the base. Now, a lot of people with Iceman even complained about discoloration of the ice. Let me give you my theory on it. It's color themed, right? So it's not color themed per se, but you can see, I mean, obviously this was brand new in the box, and you can kind of see the difference here where it's coming off the wood like this, and it does look a little bit different. We've got kind of all the frost kind of coming off here, and you go over here to the back. Obviously, I love that they do this with his boots. They give them the dirty look. And you kind of can see the ice shards coming off here on the back. They definitely are a lot clearer and look more solid, like solid ice here. Not blending in with the wood or anything at all. So I don't think it's necessarily a deterioration. People say that this is because the sun left out, stuff like that. Obviously, this was sealed in a box. This was not sun damaged or anything like that. So I just think it's a choice here in the design. And I don't mind it. I think it looks really awesome. So here's the banister right here. Obviously, it's got some icicles and stuff like that going off of it. We've got our X-Men logo right here for the school. And we do have some scratch marks. So we do have some claw marks, which I'm assuming are going to be Wolverine because he was a part of the original diorama as well. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to actually start with the profile view of Cyclops. As you can see here, he's in his classic blue and yellow. He's got all of his 90s era pouches, stuff like that. I appreciate that they add all of the dirt effect and kind of wear and tear on all the yellow. So you can see where all the buckles are connecting, all the pouches. They've got dirtiness and some grit to them, looking like, obviously, these guys have been going through hell. So here up on his back, he has his arm up with his hand out here. Sorry about that blur real quick. I like the detail on the hand, and even the gloves have the grit and the dirt to them. I can appreciate that. Like I said, we are in the middle of a battle with the X-Men here. We're not worried about keeping everything minty fresh. So I do dig it. As you can see here, the hair is sculpted, pretty well. It's Cyclops. Seeing as how this was all one piece, The seam kind of does suck, but not really a big deal. I'm going to give you back over here to the front of him. Kind of go a little front and side. As you can see here in the middle, the texture over his chest piece is different. It's got more of a, obviously, a textured look to it. And I think that's more, sorry about that, to kind of add the effect and added protection to technically the character. So here's where the statue kind of looks really, really cool. Is the profile of the face, it's definitely Cyclops. You can definitely tell. And even when the light hits that visor, it works. And Cyclops does not look happy. You don't need his eyes to see that he is pissed. The way they made the face or the mouth and everything else, you can tell that homeboy is not happy right now. And I just think they did a really, really good job with this. Like I said, the only thing I wish is I wish we did have an optic blast included. But I can understand why they didn't, because that is part of the deluxe edition. So, I'm going to go ahead before I close this out, and I'm going to show you him with a couple of his friends. Alright, so here he is with his frenemy, Wolverine, and obviously these were originally part of the same giant Sentinel diorama, with Wolverine coming out of its chest and Cyclops obviously down below, shooting at its leg. And their standalone pieces actually work really, really well together. And as you can see, going by the bases here, the bases together almost did not fit on the turntable itself. So you can see these two do blend together perfectly well. They both look like they're in the middle of a fight, ready to go, and I can dig it. I think they look great together. So next, I'm going to give you guys Cyclops with the wifey herself, Jean Grey. Now, she was not originally part of the Sentinel diorama, but as you can see here, with the way Iron Studios did these things, with the bases and everything else, these can interplay with each other perfectly. So even though we've got all the ice here around Cyclops' base, we still have all the wood flooring and stuff like that, even with Jean, and it just works. I mean, even here along the back, we've got... She actually has a piece of what looks like a door going behind her. He has a banister. So obviously these are both fighting inside the school. And they look fantastic together, I gotta say. I appreciate, again, the different variations of the color tones in the costumes. And they just work perfectly together. So if you want to check out more of Jean, I did do a unboxing for her as well as Wolverine. But we're going to go ahead and give my final thoughts and close this video out right now. All right, so that was it for your closer look at this surprisingly, to me, amazing piece by Iron Studios. And again, considering how much older this is than even something like Jean Grey, they did an amazing job with him. And I know his powers aren't ice-based, but kind of having that ice does look badass. You've got to admit, seeing it looks really badass. And you can just kind of see it's almost like collateral damage from the battle, which, if you had the Sentinel, Iceman is a part of that display. So it does make sense from a base standpoint, but not as much as a singular character piece, because people look at this and go, why is Cyclops standing in all this ice? But I personally think it looks really badass, and I gotta say, other than the kind of optic blast not being an option in this one, I know that in the diorama itself, he does have the optic blast coming out, shooting at a Sentinel, so it may be something they did just to kind of differentiate between it, just like Wolverine in the display had like claw effects, like slashing effects coming off his claws, stuff like that. So I can understand why they did it. Obviously we don't want to have the piece look too busy. Same thing with why we didn't have any kind of effects going off of Jean's hands. But again, these are things that can be rectified pretty easily with, like a 3D printer or something like that, I'm sure. Just print off some plastic pieces and go. I mean, it would probably still look really cool. But as a standalone piece, it's actually a really badass looking Cyclops. Now, when you compare it to something like I believe it's called the Unleashed Cyclops that's coming out, doesn't stand a chance. But as far as this X-Men line goes, he looks awesome. And as you saw, he looks perfect with the Wolverine and the Jean Grey. They got the matching colors just like the X-Men had. Granted, each one of their costumes does look individually like it's made of its own specific material. And I like that. They're not all just wearing the same exact spandex. Jean has a more, it's definitely a form-fitting thing, but it also has the metallic sheen to it, the shiny sheen to it. Cyclops is just a base blue and yellow. Wolverine's has almost like a texturing to it. And of course, battle damage. So I think all in all, I can appreciate that because it does give each one of these characters its own individual thing rather than them all be the same kind of copy-paste costumes. So what can I say about Cyclops that I haven't already said as far as my review and my score and things like that? While he's not my favorite X-Man, I can't hold that against him. I'm going to grade it honestly based off of how I grade all of these. People like Bishop and stuff like that I really wasn't the diehard fan of. I rated them all very fairly as well. Havoc too, stuff like that. Forge. I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is a solid 8 out of 10. The base alone, I think, technically should push it up even higher than that because the base is really badass. But I can say I definitely recommend this one. If you don't have all the X-Men yet, if you're looking to collect all the X-Men, you don't want to spend the exorbitant prices to get your hands on that Sentinel 1 Deluxe with all these characters in it, I can definitely recommend getting yourself Cyclops because he does look incredible. Iron Studios has just literally... I loved their MCU lines, but sometimes they look a little off. These X-Men lines look perfect. And I can tell you right now, once the new animated series come out, you're going to see all of these skyrocketing in price in the aftermarket. So if you can find it, I'm going to tell you right now, buy it while you can. Same thing with all these other older pieces, with Wolverine, with Beast, all these other ones. Get them while you can. And side note, if you guys know of Beast and Archangel anywhere, send me a message because I'm still looking for those too myself. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out Cyclops with me. Let me know what your thoughts on him is in the comments down below. Check out all the other X-Men unboxings here on the channel. I've done a ton of them. I've done a bunch of MCU ones as well. And let me know if there are any ones in particular that you would like me to do that I haven't done yet. I do have some here still on hand. I have some en route. And I have some that obviously I'm still looking for. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys the usual spiel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Click that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Spread the nerdiness. Click the link tree in our channel page for all the other social medias. I post photos, updates, etc. on all of the social media pages. And yeah, guys, that's it. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.